Welcome to The Grand Balance, a weekly podcast hosted by two working grandmas navigating the beautiful chaos of work and family. Hi, Angela. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Are you sure?
I'm struggling a little. So for those listening, some of us as we get older, we need to have a colonoscopy. We talked about that on a prior episode. Get your health in shape. Make sure you're doing all your tests and everything. And I'm in the middle of drinking the really nasty tasting liquid that they make you drink, the gallon of it.
Which, by the way, no one told me it was really as awful as it actually was. That was shocking to me.
Yeah, and I'm so frugal. They did, as I'm checking out, they did say, you could do pills, but it's several $100s. And I was like, no, I'll do it. I'll manage it. But if we have to take a pause during recording, you know why. Because I'm gagging.
Yeah, I do remember that night. It was not fun, but it's actually so nice to get it over with and know that you won't have to do it for years to come.
Well, and the good news is I'm about to go on a cruise in a week. So I will be nice and
empty
and looking good for the bikini. Oh, I don't know about that, but I'll feel good.
Yeah, one of the tips that helped me the day before was I just stayed really busy when you're just on the clear liquid diet and you can't eat, and just used actually Mountain Dew so I could have a mix of caffeine and carbonation, and it definitely did fill me up. Are you starving?
I'm famished and I actually have a hunger headache. And so, to get rid of headaches, I do sometimes drink caffeine. So I should have been smart about it and got the Mountain Dew, because then I probably wouldn't have had the headache. But yeah. I was busy. I was watching the baby today.
That's good. Yeah, I stayed really busy and I don't ever drink soda. So it was a big change to my system. And the same thing, I get headaches from hunger and lack of caffeine. It helped a lot for sure, but not a fun night you have ahead of you, Miss Angela.
I know. And I loved how you wanted to do this a little early. So you got to experience the early part of it.
I said, if you wait any longer, you're going to be on the pot all night. So
I know. So we'll hurry this up. But so far, so good. I'm not nauseous yet. So we're good.
A very helpful tip that no one told me that I have passed on to friends, unless you have a bidet, is use wipes from the start. Don't even mess with toilet paper because you will regret it later.
Well, it's a good thing I have some baby wipes from my little grandson here.
Yep.
I will do that.
That was the big mistake I made, and I was really sore.
Yeah. So, okay, we're past the TMI now.
This is our TMI episode. What we are going to talk a little bit today about is preparing for the holidays. And one of the main things we need to do to prepare for the holidays is to stay healthy. So, Angela, you're on the right track.
I am on the right track. The other thing I did recently, mainly for the cruise, but they do say ahead of the holidays, I did get my flu shot and I got the most recent COVID vaccine. And, I was debating on COVID. I know it, folks are thinking, do you really need them anymore? But because I'm going to be on this cruise with thousands of other people, and I was just at a work event and a bunch of people got COVID just from being in the same room together, I figured I'd do it. And I did it together. And I'm glad I did, because I'm one of those that does feel the impact of the shot. Like the next day, I feel like I've got a bad flu. So I'm glad I did it together so I can just get it out of the way.
I did the same. I did it together, and they asked me, do you want it on your left arm, your right arm, one on each arm? And I was like, yeah, we'll just do both in the same non-working arm, which is my right arm.
Yeah, that's what I did, but I did it on my left and it was okay.
Yeah, I thought this year too. I have had bad effects from the other ones in the past, and other than my arm being a little sore, I was fine. So that was good news.
So we're, taking care of the health part in preparation for the holiday, because as both of us know, we love the holidays. So we do not want to be sick during the holidays.
No. And I have a lot of travel coming up, as I know you do as well. So we definitely need to stay healthy and do whatever we can to be at our peak energy.
Yep. Because we're the hostess with the mostest.
Yeah. The one thing have had a lot of feedback is a lot of people have told me after listening to a prior episode that they went and got their blood test. And I think that's so awesome, because that's one of the things you and I talked about that people put off. I know you put it off. And if people go and do it, sometimes I think just knowing why, like sometimes you're like, yeah, I've heard it. But if you know the reasons why, sometimes it kind of gets you over that hump to actually make the appointment and do it. So I did look up what blood tests actually tell us, and there is some valuable information. It gives us reports of our hormone levels, bone health, heart health, liver and kidney function. A complete blood count tests us for infections and overall immune health. It has some cancer markers that can come up. It shows diabetes, and it shows a B12 or iron deficiency, which is important to our health. So I think if you haven't done it, please do so.
That's interesting that it shows all of that, because I did just have my blood work done recently, not through a normal appointment, a story for another day, but I went to the ER and they did all this blood work. And I did have an infection that I never knew I had, but I was wondering, why am I so tired? I'm just so darn tired, and I must have been fighting an infection. But all those other things that you're talking about, I wouldn't know how to look at it.
Yeah, I always thought it was interesting too, how much shows up. And it just shows you a lot of different things that can be going on with your body could be found out through the blood work.
Yeah. So are you saying you can just ask your doctor annually to get that done?
I think most health plans do cover it. I know I have an HMO, and it definitely does cover it once a year.
Yeah, that's good.
So, and then as far as the colonoscopy, they generally, depending on your health plan, recommend starting at 45 or 50. And then you don't have to worry about it until every 10 years if no issues are found. If you're in a high risk family history or other reasons you're high risk, they recommend every 5 years.
Yeah. So I'm getting mine every 5. My grandmother did pass away due to colon cancer. So I think I'm one of those higher risk categories. Yeah. So,
well, I'm glad you're getting it done. I felt I put it off forever. And once I did it, I was just very relieved that it was over with and the uncomfortable part of it was done. And I was nice, clean, and empty.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's the actual procedure is fine because you're out. It's just the preparation for 2 days prior to that stinks.
For sure.
Literally.
But I'm glad you're getting it done. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So also, besides staying healthy for the holidays, another thing we have to do to prepare for the holidays is just all the scheduling. I know we talked in a prior episode some tips about that. My daughter brought it up to me because as the family dynamics change and families with young children, babies, multiple children, sometimes it's harder for those families to travel or move around. I know you've said in the past your family had to move to all different locations to hit up all the different family sides. So this year, my daughter's actually hosting Thanksgiving, so everyone comes to her, which I thought was a great solution because it makes it easier on them.
Right. And thank goodness that, the grandparents all get along, the family all gets along. So they're more than willing to do that, and all the cousins and everything. So that's great. We have a family like that we all love getting together. So if there's somebody that wants to host, my sister-in-law usually hosts Thanksgiving. I'll do Christmas Eve. So it's really nice that you create a little tradition, but also everybody just knows where they're going, and you don't have to do as much juggling in the future.
Right. And you don't spend your whole day running around.
Right. And my daughter, so I mentioned that we were running around a lot on a prior episode, and we decided to finally stop that. My daughter was experiencing something a little similar where she was exhausted from taking the baby to like 3 different places. So she had asked if it would be okay, instead of us doing Christmas morning at our house, so she could open presents with the baby and everything, would it be okay if they hosted and started a new tradition on Christmas Day? So I'll do Christmas Eve, and then on Christmas Day, after we visit my parents, her grandparents, after in the afternoon, they want to host the Feast of the Seven Fishes, which my son-in-law is full Italian. We're part Italian. So it's a brand new tradition that they're doing for the family that's theirs, which I thought was really great.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And we were willing to be flexible to give her the opportunity to, even though she wants to host, at least she's not running around crazy with the baby.
And she's starting a new tradition, like you said. So that's really nice for her little nuclear family as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when her in-laws come, they'll be able to do it as well, because they do it in New York, where they're from.
Yeah. Speaking of traveling, a lot of people may not know this, but when you're traveling, you can rent baby gear. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
From what, the
there's
Hertz
companies,
Rent-A-Cars or what?
No, there's companies that do it. What made me think of it was my daughter had a destination wedding in Mexico, and our hair and makeup lady brought her baby, and we were able to get a high chair and a crib delivered to the hotel. And then since then, other people have told me about grandparents or parents traveling with younger kids. And the same thing, there's companies that will deliver to whatever address you happen to be staying at, whether it be a pack and play. Is it a play? I always say it backwards. Pack and play?
It's pack and play.
Okay.
Yeah.
I usually say the opposite. My daughter always corrects me. High chairs, different things you may need, strollers, maybe something you didn't take with you. You can rent those so you're not hauling so much stuff with you.
So do they deliver it to the airport, or is it through the airport?
No, it's just different companies. There's apps for it. And so they can bring it to a hotel. If you're staying at Aunt Judy's house, they can drop it off at Aunt Judy's house.
Okay. Or they probably could deliver it to the airport, I guess, because you're going to need that stroller when you leave the airport, right?
Right. Unless you're carrying the kid.
But if you have multiple, that's
Right.
kind of hard.
True. And I'm
the
sure
luggage and everything.
Everyone's traveling with car seats anyway.
Speaking of luggage, have you seen the luggage now that you can strap the kid on? It's like a little seat in the front of the luggage, and they just get driven by the luggage.
And it's so cute, right?
It's very cute.
And then as they get older, there's ones they can ride themselves on.
Yep. I love that. I've been seeing those
So
more often.
Cute. I have too. All this stuff they come out with, so cool.
I think it makes it easier for parents.
Yeah,
but
sure.
it's hard, but as we talked about in another episode, they have it harder in so many other ways. But.
Right. I guess there's always the good and the bad.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. I'm going to pause for a minute, take another 8 ounces of that liquid.
Oh.
Give me just a second.
Okie dokie.
Okay, I'm back.
Yay.
All right. Where were we, Sharon?
We are going to talk about some non-toy gift ideas for the holidays, whatever holidays people celebrate, because as we know, sometimes parents don't want additional toys, or maybe for whatever reason, here are some gift ideas that aren't toys.
Well, we did talk about that in the last episode. One of our listeners had said that the parents didn't want any more toys, so she had that dilemma.
Right. That's what made me think of it. So I kind of looked into some ideas. And there are some awesome ideas out there. One of them is something that Sophie Z talked about on our episode about ideas for non-screen time. And she had mentioned subscription boxes. And as I've looked into those, if you do like 12 months worth, it can get expensive, but they give you the option to do shorter terms. You can pick specific ages, interests. So that I think is a really good idea. Photo books was another idea, which I thought was really cool.
So it's so interesting because I've seen those online now.
The photo books?
Right. I don't know where I see them. They're saying, hey, yes, we have thousands of pictures online or on our phone, but wouldn't you want something to hold and to be able to sit with your child and look at? And I, as we've mentioned on another episode, I cherish my photo albums that my grandmother made for me. And I just thought, oh, that's so old school, but I think it's coming back.
Well, and I've seen those same ads, and some of the suggestions are do a book after every trip, and I'm really going to take that to heart and try to do that and get a separate book for each trip or vacation or whatever the season is, birthday party, etc. Another thing I thought was cool that I saw was they make like the board books, photo books for younger kids. And so you could do almost like a baby/toddler thick cardboard photo book, which would be kind of cool if someone lived far away, all the different family members or memories or things like that.
Oh, that's a great idea if you don't get to see your grandparents as often. I mean, I know we have FaceTime and everything, but still to be able to
just have a cute book.
Yeah, I love that idea.
With the aunts and cousins and pets and different things. I thought that was really cute too. We talked before in another episode about passes to local attractions, which I think is a good idea because experiences over things, you can't go wrong with that.
I hope I get a zoo pass.
Ooh, I have a zoo pass.
For my kids that are listening, hopefully. I don't know if they listen.
I purchased zoo passes.
I know my cousin
myself.
does. He told me that the other day.
Oh.
So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, for Southern California, you can get a really good deal. I bought one for myself and for my daughter, and it was very, very reasonable. and such a fun place to go. We've talked about that. Another idea I heard from a listener was to combine whatever budget you have for a child with the in-laws, if you have a friendly relationship, for maybe a more expensive item as they get older that they may want, or specific lessons they may want. And I thought that was a really good idea too.
That's a great idea. Because, you know, we've spoken about sports in the past and stuff. If they want any sort of sports lessons or anything, those are crazy expensive.
Right. Or even like a ski day. I couldn't believe how much lift tickets are now.
Oh, yeah. And then you got to rent the equipment and everything, unless you have your own. But
so, I mean, and it doesn't even necessarily, I guess, have to be in-laws. It can be other family members, aunts, uncles. Whoever.
That's a great idea, especially as you get older. The gifts tend to be more expensive.
Right.
Like I want one thing, like a phone or a computer, game console or whatever.
Right. Might be a way to get some of those more expensive things that are out of the budget originally.
Mm-hmm.
A Zoog. We talked about Zoog before, Zoog subscription. It's an app where you can read books for the long distance grandparenting. So that it would be a great gift. And then another one I hadn't thought about, and we just talked about a little bit ago, was magazine subscriptions for different ages and specific topics that would be interested to the child.
You know, we used to have the highlights. I don't know if you remember those.
Oh, I love those.
Yes. Going into the dentist office, I know they always had them, but I ordered some for my niece not too long ago. And then I noticed them. When I took my grandson to the library today, I saw a whole stack of highlights. So they still have those around. And what I love about them is you could take them while they sit at a restaurant or whatever and do the activities inside and stuff.
Yeah, there's fun pictures and games and little stories.
Yeah. And then as you get older, once you have more interest, I mean, I don't even know, do they have teen magazine anymore? Or I don't know if you have interests, like if you're into certain gaming or whatever, I'm sure they have those sorts of magazines.
I remember my mom got my son like the Sports Illustrated Junior.
Okay.
And he loved that every time it came. And it's kind of a nice reminder. You know, you get the magazine from grandma or grandpa and it comes in the mail once a month or whenever it's issued.
Yeah, I would have never thought that because I thought they were kind of going out of style, but I guess they're still around.
Yes, I was surprised too because I used to love to read magazines and now I just don't find myself doing it because everything's on your phone.
Well, I still read the paper at dinner every night. So after dinner, I need that. I just need something to hold, and I get enough screen time at work. I just want something different, like a book or a magazine, or like you said, or like I do the newspaper every night.
I also love a hard copy of the newspaper. I know a lot of people do it on their pads now, iPads, Kindles, but I love to hold the newspaper and read it.
Yeah, I think because I like skip things and I start from the back, go to the front, so it's easier. You know, one thing that I struggled with last year, so I buy gifts for people that live afar. So I try to, share the spirit with my son-in-law's family. They're such a wonderful group of people that unfortunately we don't get to see during the holidays. So I always like to send something to them. And then I have the opportunity to share, the holiday spirit with some of my coworkers. And last year, I sent a lot of gift baskets, more food baskets. They might be cute, cookies, or some have fruit in it, or popcorn, or, whatever. There's just these variety packets that you can send in the mail in these cute baskets or with flowers or whatever. And I sent some to a few of my coworkers that have little kids. And one of my colleagues, he said, "Hey, I really appreciate it, but you're never going to believe it. I have 3 girls. One is allergic to nuts, one is allergic to gluten, and one is allergic to something else that was in that basket."
So basically they couldn't eat anything.
Bust. Yes, it was a big bust. And he said, "I really appreciate it. Luckily, they loved it. It was like a little holiday mailbox, like with letter to Santa or something like that." He says they loved playing with that, but they couldn't eat it, but we did. He was just joking around. But I thought, I would have never thought about stuff like that. The baskets look so beautiful and full of so many good, goodies. So now I have to really think through what am I going to get all these people? What's out there? I just don't know. I have to do more research.
Are they local or far?
No, these
across?
are all to be shipped. So like I did it through Harry and David before, or some other like greatgiftbaskets.com or, whatever.
What about stuff that is exclusive to our area, like Christmas ornaments, if they celebrate Christmas, of like from Hotel Del or San Diego or
That's a great idea. Like hello from San Diego.
right. You could maybe do some spices.
Yeah, I need to figure it out if they have family though. I want something that,
Right.
is for a large
Or
family.
You could do cute little like plushies of Shamu or something like that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. But then I'll do it all myself.
I'll do it for you. I like to put that kind of stuff together.
I mean, I'm really good about time management. And so that's why I do it that way, right? I order it all together at night. You're asking for very custom work here, Sharon.
Well, no, you could do the same for everyone, but you would definitely have to put it together.
Yeah. Okay. I'll hire you.
Okay. I'm willing and able.
Okay. All right. So transitioning just a little bit, I have an inspirational grandma story.
Oh, great.
And it's kind of a history lesson as well. So Anne Dunwoody shattered one of the highest glass ceilings in the U.S. military by becoming the first female 4-star general.
Wow.
And why I wanted to mention her is we just honored a lot of men and women in service through Veterans Day. And I thought, what a great inspirational story. So she shattered the glass ceiling and it didn't end there. So she spent 38 years in the Army and then transitioned into her role as a grandmother. So to her grandchildren, she's not just a celebrated general, but a source of boundless inspiration. Instead of tales of medals and battles, though, she shares stories of teamwork, resilience, and the power of believing in oneself. She often reminds them that greatness isn't defined by rank or title, but out of courage to step into uncharted territories and the strength to uplift others along the way. So I thought, it gave me chills when I read that. And what an amazing woman and an amazing grandmother. So in the spirit and the honor of the veterans, I wanted to recognize Anne Dunwoody.
And today I have a fabulous find. I've used for a very long time and have given my kids as stocking stuffers, and now it is available at Target, so you don't have to just order it online. It's called Beekeeper's Natural Immune Support Propolis Throat Spray, and it's under $15 a bottle. You use for daily immune support. This goes along with our whole talk about staying healthy for the holidays and travel, which is what made me think of it. It soothes a scratchy throat, is your daily dose of vitamins and minerals, extra defense when traveling. It's a little bottle that you just spray. It says up to 4 times or 8 times a day if you're not feeling well, 4 times a day normally. I seriously just do it either morning and night or one or the other, and it seems to work really well. They do offer one for kids that are 2 and older, and then the other one, the adult version, is for ages 12 and up. And I've noticed a considerable difference. My daughter, who was in education, also noticed a big difference when she started using it. So I highly recommend it. There's no refined sugars, no GMOs, no artificial flavors or dyes, no antibiotics, and it is drug-free.
And what's the difference that you noticed?
Not getting sick.
Oh, okay.
Not like, how before you'd fly and you would like feel like a little run down or your throat would hurt or you'd be congested. I don't notice any of those symptoms anymore.
So it's like another version of Emergency or something like that?
Exactly. I think
cool.
Same idea.
Got it.
Without all the artificial stuff.
All right. Well, that's good, especially very timely, as you said.
Right. And I've used it for years and always ordered online. And then I saw it at Target and I was very excited because it's a lot easier just to run into Target and pick it up.
Well, thanks for the tip. I'm going to use that when I do all my holiday travels.
Yes. And stay healthy, everyone. And please remember to review and rate our podcast. It really helps us a lot to get to a larger audience. So we thank everyone that's done it, and please continue to do it. We really appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Before we let you go, Sharon and I just want to let you know that we will be taking off next week as we celebrate Thanksgiving with our families. So we'll resume and talk to you again on December 3rd. We hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Take care. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe to the podcast so we can continue to grow our community. And follow us on Instagram at Working Grandmas Podcast, on Facebook at The Grand Balance, a Working Grandmas Podcast, and join our LinkedIn group, Working Grandmas. You can also email us at info@workinggrandmas.com or message us through any of our social media platforms.